So I was thinking of never giving up, and I was thinking of back when I was like in third grade, fourth grade, when I was playing football. And by the way, little factoid of me is I played football from first grade to freshman year. I know, I don't look it. Aw. Thank you, Colin. That means a lot to my heart. All right, but anyways, so I remembered that pretty much summed up my football career, because I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest, I didn't know the best routes to run, but what stuck me out is that I just didn't know how to give up. What does that mean? I was a running back. So I wasn't the fastest. Like, we had, I'm going to be throwing names out there. You guys aren't going to know who they are. Tyler Birch, he was way faster than me. Creedon Hassel, he hit harder than me. But for some reason, I was a running back. And I was a wide receiver. I was in important places, but I wasn't the best. And I look back at it now, and it's just because I didn't know how to give up. I never gave up no matter what I did. And so I remember thinking back, a funny story. I hope you find it funny too. But it was a practice. See, he's already laughing. It's really funny. It was a practice, and I was in like third, fourth grade or something. So what do they call, nowadays, what do they call those like running drills where you have to run from like the field goal to the 10? Okay, that's what I thought, but I thought like maybe they changed that because like, so I thought it was more PC now. I thought it was all PC now. All right, it's not PC. All right, cool. So yeah, that's what I called them. Anyways, we were running those, and like everyone was getting tired, but I was still running full speed, so I was like completing them, and like I wasn't a beast. I think I just had ADD or something like that. But I was running back and forth, and I wasn't getting tired. And coach was getting tired of me not getting tired. So he called me over, and he was like, Eli, and I was like, yeah. He said, I want you to run to that telephone pole and back. And that's like, it was we were at the end zone, and it was about the halfway. So it was about like concession stand. So it was 50 yards there, 50 yards back. And he was like, I want you to run to that telephone pole and back. And I was like, okay. Boom, I take off, and he like starts turning around. He starts talking to all the others because he gave them a break. And he's like, oh, blah, blah, like, all right, yeah, we're just gonna, after this, like, practice gonna be over. And just like, I tap him on the shoulder. He turns back around, and he's like, oh, are you done? I was like, yeah. He was like, you don't look tired enough. Do it again. And he turns back around, and I'm, poof. And then, so he turns back around, and he starts talking. He's like, all right, so this is going to be the practice. We can go ahead and get one. We can go ahead and get our waters. And I'm just standing here looking up at him. And he's like, you don't look tired enough. Run it again. He sends me off again. Turns around, and he's like, all right, guys, go ahead and get your waters. You like water break and all that. And just like, turns around. I'm just looking at him. He's just looking at me. He didn't like me. The coach didn't like me, period. But he didn't like that. He didn't like that I never got tired. But anyways, he was like, all right, just get water. I tired him out. I don't know. I like that story. But this brings me to my first point. Never give up. Do we have it up there? Yes. Never give up. That's, what? The video? I'll play it after, just for you. So this brings me to a verse, actually. And so I've titled this, you might have already seen the wonderful image that Jess has created me, is that this sermon is called Fight. So I was looking through verses, I was looking for just fight, and I found it quite easily, like first pop-up. Anyways, 1 Timothy 6:12, it says, fight the good fight of faith. Take hold of the eternal life to which you were called and about which you made the good confession in the presence of many witnesses. Now, so here, I'm gonna break it down in little pieces, but not that little because it's like 2 sentences. So anyways, fight the good fight of faith. So what does that mean? What does it mean to fight a fight of faith? Like, it can probably get confusing just like hearing that. So anyways, I'm gonna throw it down here in like easy to understand English today. Fighting the good fight of faith, it's more than just, yeah, I'm a Christian, and I go to a school, I'm a Christian there too, and like all that stuff. Now, fighting the good fight of faith is being a lot more. It means being more. It means not just doing more, but being more. So fighting the good fight of faith is like never backing down on your morals, never like surrendering your character. Like, I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying here, but it is legitimately fighting for yourself, fighting for Christ for yourself. Do you get what I'm getting at here? Can I get like head nods or head shakes if I need to go a little more? Amen. I like that. Yes, that's good. If you guys get it, I can move on if you say amen. That's like the continue button. All right. So it takes an insane amount of character to never give up. Now, I don't know. I'm about to throw up some people, and I want you to tell me if you recognize them real quick. So the first one is here. We got George Lucas. We got his picture up there. All right. So I don't know if you know, but here's a little bit of story about George Lucas. So this guy, before all the movies, before everything, he loved to race cars. And you could even call it an obsession. So one day when racing a car, he got in a near-death experience. Like I'm talking like near death. Probably a little bit more dramatic than that. I'm sorry. I just kind of, So anyways, through this experience, he dropped his favorite hobby of racing cars and moved on to something else. Are you trying to read this with me? No. But anyways, he went on to college and got a graduate degree in film. How about that? You just like race cars and all of a sudden you should go to college and get a degree. But he made his first movie after that. And this movie sucked. It bombed. But despite his failure, despite writing all of this and then producing it and it just failed, well, it didn't, like big time, it was bad. It was just bad. I don't have that name written down right now. So despite his failure, he tried again and he wrote the movie American Graffiti, which was a really decent success. So he made another. And this one isn't, I guess it's not that well known. I don't know, you guys have heard of him, but I don't know if you've heard of all of his works. But he went to 2 different studios, both turning him down and disregarding any past success he had. But he tried one more time. So he went with this idea, he went to someone and they said, no, this can't work. And he went to someone else and he said, no, this can't work. And he didn't give up there. He went to a third one, and when he went there, he went to 20th Century Fox. And they just said, we don't know anything that's on this script, but your last movie was pretty good, so I guess we'll accept you. So you know what that movie went on to, you know what that movie was? That movie was Star Wars. Star Wars almost got rejected. So anyways, it's about like the I don't know if you guys saw that, but like the travel he had to have, the path, the word's escaping me. But yeah, he had a journey. But so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the second guy. Now this guy is pretty popping right now. I don't know, hold on, don't pick up this picture yet. Can anyone guess? He's really popular right now. Like Chris Pratt. Really popular. Like, I mean like Robert Downey Jr. And you're all breathtaking. Yes, you're breathtaking. It's Keanu Reeves.
Oh my God.
This guy, I love this guy. This guy is awesome. But you got to hear his story. So, born in Lebanon to an English woman and an American from Hawaii, at age 3, his father left. He and his mother moved to multiple different places, first being Australia and eventually ending up in Canada. During this time, his mother had married and divorced 3 times, and he had been to 4 different high schools in a 5-year period. At age 17, he dropped out of high school and moved to Los Angeles with the help of his stepfather, helping him obtain a green card. He married a girl named Jennifer Symes, who he had a child with. However, unfortunately, the child was stillborn at 8 months, which led to them falling apart. They broke up, and 18 months later, Jennifer was in a fatal car accident. Despite all of that, like all this tribulation, all these problems that like were propping up his life, like dad left, he had to move around, he never had a steady like male figure, and eventually he just moved to the US with the help of one of his stepfathers, and like he finally found happiness, he found a girl, they had a kid, and man, it just went downhill. Like he thought he had it. Now, this was like where people like, you feel like you're at the end of the road and you're done. But this dude, he didn't give up. He went on and he went to play some minor roles in movies before finally hitting the big time and getting roles in River's Edge, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and one of the big ones, The Matrix. Yeah. And then John Wick and all of that stuff, and then he just blew up. And you playing Toy Story? All right. But anyways, this guy blew up. Like, you're breathtaking. Like, Cyberpunk 2077, I'm so pumped for that game. But that's not, it's a game.
What game?
Cyberpunk 2077, I just said that.
I'm looking up to see if he's actually
Okay.
in the...
But anyways, what's up? You're fine, Colin. We forgive you. But anyways, I told you these two people's like amazing stories and like their triumphs as well as their problems, because this like leads directly into point 2, is don't just look at the medals, look at the scars. So like we can look at the medals and completely forget the scars of what people have left behind. Like a lot of people think that success is just a straight road, that whenever you hit it, you had no problems, it was a smooth road, and boom, you made it. But that's not how life goes. Life is often, and I saw a picture one time, it went fail, 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 success. Life is a series of trial and error, basically, until you figure it out. But I think that just goes along with following God and following what he's asking you to do. But anyways, back into my second point, is you don't just look at the medals, you look at the scars, because otherwise you can become discouraged. Because if you're just looking at someone's medals on their wall, you're gonna see them as this big, holy, big time shot, just the big man. And then you can discourage yourself. You fail one time and you think you're the worst at something. You fail one time and you think that you're never gonna get back up. Now listen, okay, let me think of all right, so if you were playing basketball, listen here, that's what I'm gonna say. If you went on a basketball court and this is your first time touching a basketball and you step on and LeBron James steps on, who's gonna win? I don't think Drip wins basketball games. I'll get LeBron out here. But anyways,
You gonna fly him from LA to Oklahoma?
yeah. Anyways, listen. So what I'm saying here is that he had practice. Do you guys know LeBron James' story? It all comes from practice. It all comes from failure until you hit success, because that's just the process of life. But we can't get caught up looking at someone's perfect moment. I think another example is Instagram or Snapchat. Instagram, especially Instagram, take pictures of their food, or Instagram models, all that stuff. You don't know how long they spent. You don't know how much effort they went through. You don't know how many effects they put on that photo. You don't know how many filters or whatever that they had to go through in order to make that perfect photo or make that perfect little clip that you just saw for a second. And you're like, man, that's a perfect moment. That's a perfect person. And you're looking at this, but you don't see that all the effort they went through. I think another example, does everyone know Dude Perfect?
Yo.
Dude Perfect. So do you guys know the famous, they're at a 30-story building and they drop a basketball and it goes in the hoop? You better bet they didn't do that on the first try. Exactly. But they get this 6-second clip that says that they did. It's a Vine. You get this small little clip of success and you think, oh my gosh, these guys are amazing. Oh my gosh, they're the best at shooting these hoops. They're the best at all these different things. 1 second. But you don't see the process of, you don't know how many basketballs they had to bring up that many, flight of stairs and set down beside him, because he had to grab it, throw it, grab it, throw it, grab it, throw it. It probably took them more than a day. It probably took them more than 24 hours to finally get that perfect clip of the ball going in there. What were you saying? But you see my point here, right?
Amen.
Thank you. Yeah. But you see my point here. So it can be encouraging. It can be encouraging if you look at it this way. If your role models had their darkest days, not because you want them to have hard lives, but because you know that they're humans too. And if they're humans too and you can put in more effort, that means that we can accomplish those same things or even greater one day. Those greater things. Now, I was looking at greater things and I was writing this down. And I was like, oh man, I just had a blip in my head. And this reminded me of a verse. And I don't know if you guys know this one. We'll do a little Bible quiz real quick. So it's John 14:12. It said, you will do greater things than I. Who said that? Wow. That's good. You didn't even participate in Bible quiz in youth camp. What happened? That was perfect. Yes, Jesus. Right? So anyways, the answer is Jesus. So if even Jesus said that you will do greater things than I, and he was 100% man, 100% God, and he never had a mess up. If he said that we're going to do greater things than him, that's just a major encouragement. Because, man, if he never had a mess up, he performed all these miracles. He raised a dude from the dead. I think, actually, he did that twice or three times. Multiple times. Himself. Same person?
No, 2 times.
Okay, moving on. But anyways, moving on. You're fine. But you get my point here. This dude was God. And he has the gusto to say that we're going to do greater things than him. That's pretty encouraging. So, if you focus solely on the success of others, you're going to discourage yourself. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And you're going to feel like you're not good enough. You're going to feel like you're not going to be happy with yourself. So you got to be looking at those scars too. See where they came from. But this just as well, if you choose to set your standards too high, if you're setting your standards to the moon and it's your first time trying something, you're going to see yourself as a failure. And so I'm going to do a little, I don't know if you guys know Adventure Time. I used to watch this when I was growing up. He said, sucking at something is the first step at becoming sort of good at something. That's pretty inspirational. And it was just a small blurb from a little yellow magic dog. But sucking at something is the first step at being sort of good at something. If you look at it that way, you can do anything. So, in football, I wanted to be the best. I wanted, but because I wasn't willing to accept how good I was, I lost my heart for it. And when you lose your heart for something, you lose your drive in it, and that's when you begin to give up. At least that's how I see it. So right here is my third point. It's don't lose heart. So don't lose heart here. I'm talking about never giving up. I'm talking about keeping your drive. I'm talking about keeping your head in the game, going all the way. So this is something I want to give you real quick, is that people notice charisma, but they acknowledge character. So I don't know if you know the difference between acknowledge and notice, but right now I'm trying to make it this way. So charisma is a brief moment of being outstanding. It's someone that makes one speech on YouTube or Instagram and blows up. It's someone who has this brief, tiny blurb of being the best in the room and they get famous for it. But character is being consistent in who you are and what is good over the course of a lifetime. Now, character, I don't know if you guys feel this too, but straight up, I think Martin Luther King Jr., straight up, he's a really, really good definition of character. He didn't fight for his own gain. He fought for the cause of many. That he didn't give up. He didn't stop marching because opposition came. He had character, and he stayed consistent in who he was and who God was calling him to be, as well as the cause he felt was wrong. Well, he felt was right because the world was wrong. So don't let anyone discourage you from chasing your dreams. Don't lose heart. Now, especially, don't let anyone discourage you from chasing your calling that God's put on your life, because your calling is going to be what keeps you driving, man. Band's already there. Thank you, Joel. Now, if you guys remember last week, Jimmy talked about the rut after camp and the ceiling we can hit. You guys remember? There's a rut after camp and there's a ceiling we can hit. I was typing this up and I was thinking about this and I just felt God say in my heart, he was like, someone that's going to be in that room, is someone that's in that room has been crying, they've been praying, and they've been fighting, and they've been just like scratching for this. They've been reaching for this for a long time, whether it's healing, whether it's forgiveness, just they've been crying out for this. And I want to let you know, God's heard you. He spoke to my heart and he was like, tell them, when you get there, when you get in front of all of them, tell them that I hear them and that a breakthrough is coming. Don't just wipe that off thinking that's not you. If you've been waiting for something, if you've been pacing back and forth waiting for something, if you've been fighting for something but you haven't seen any efforts, if you've been crying out to God for something but you haven't seen any changes, hold fast. Don't lose heart, because God is coming. God has heard you, and there's going to be a breakthrough. So with that ceiling I was talking about that Jimmy said, is that with God, there's always more growing we can do. We'll never be perfect. We'll never hit the tip top. We'll never hit the moon. But we can always be more like him. And that'll draw us closer, closer and closer. And one day, we'll be with him. And that's the moon. One day we will reach it. You just have to not lose heart. If you'll hand it over to God and continue to fight for it, you'll see yourself be taken so much farther than you could ever have believed in. So I want to sum this up real quick. So I got 4 quick things. Love God, fight for God, love others for God, and don't give up.